Joined by the leader writer at The Australian, Lloyd. Graham, let's start with the COVID response on the payments. Have you got any sense of how Prime Minister Albanese is going to manage the National Cabinet out of that?
Yeah, hi, Kieran. Well, obviously what we're seeing is that winter's here and COVID is still a big issue. And it's raised some interesting points for the government, and the main one being the difference between opposition and government. I mean, in opposition, they were quick to criticise the suspension of payments and the absence of free rats. And 8 weeks in government, the first task was to scrap the rats and stop the payments. The more significant thing is the pushback that you saw pretty comprehensively, but particularly from Labor states, and the call for National Cabinet to be reconvened. Anthony Albanese has said that he's interested in getting a more cooperative federalism, but really what we've seen is that the states, through the National Cabinet process, are very much going to act in the way that they did with the Morrison government.
Are you getting much of a read on what the Parliament's going to look like, particularly the Greens with the balance of power flexing their muscles?
That's another thing we saw this week that indicates the sort of storm clouds on the horizon. We're seeing a lot of pushback to the government's attempts to legislate climate targets. The opposition doesn't want there to be a legislated target. The Greens have said that they want the target to be higher. And more significantly, this week the Greens said that they want a seat at the table in the Jobs Summit as well, and underlined the fact that they will hold the balance of power in the Senate, and it's going to be difficult for the government to operate without their consent. This is a constraint that is going to be felt by the government, and they're going to have to quickly find a way to deal with it.
Now, the Pacific, we saw the Prime Minister there and seemed to be well received, talking the language of footy, but most importantly for the Pacific and our neighbours in the region, the issue of climate, Graham.
That's right. I think it was a very successful meeting by all accounts. And as you say, Mr Albanese found the language that was going to be receptive, and that was, let's get a state of origin competition within the region. And also to act on climate change and sponsor a joint meeting with the Pacific as part of the UNFCCC. It's all well and good. Everybody smiles all round. The Pacific nations are saying that they will act in unity on issues such as defence, which we would like to read as they will maintain their relationships with Australia and the US as they have historically. The trap is that this is very expensive policy going forward, particularly in the area of climate. There's a great need for sort of assistance through the region, and also the cost to entry for the UNFCCC is quite high, and it will dominate the government going forward as it prepares a bid, and it's uncertain to see where it will end up.
Graham, Lloyd, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you.